Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. So, before we get started, I want to know, what does everyone think about the new EJ? Now, I asked this question because I just generally want to know. Um, Now, this is coming from a person who's just looking at the new EJ. I don't know anything about the old EJ or how he acted, what people liked about him, what people disliked about him. So I kind of want to know everyone's opinions about EJ as a character. Um, and with that being said, Sammy, I do not understand this woman. There's times, they literally call her Hurricane Sammy. Hurricane Sammy, force to be reckoned with, force of nature and everything. The minute EJ walks into the room, it's like the composure, everything just drops down, and you see, now granted, it's just my opinion, I feel like you see this very pathetic, frail version, this pale version of what I saw when she came to town at Eric's wedding, and just started fighting with Nicole, and the wedding cake was just whatever, just be damned. The minute that EJ walks into the room, it's like she can barely speak. I'm like, and it's just kind of just like, what, are you afraid of him? Like, are you like physically afraid of him? Like, you're emotionally afraid of him? I don't understand. Listen, from what I heard, they were very hot and heavy, and they were a hot couple, and all this other stuff like that. And I mean, I heard a little bit from Brock TV, but I'm just like, I felt like they were supposed to be on some sort of even ground, and the minute that he walks into the room, she just like shrinks up and becomes like this former version of herself. And there was one part where, EJ was like, oh, something, between me and my wife, some swine. And I was like, swine? I saw it in the promo, I was like, are we pirates now? What? Swine? Okay. Alright, I gotta know more about this guy. But it just seems like a couple of times when he was talking, it seems as though, like, they were suspecting him of knowing about her infidelity. There was a couple of times where Lucas was like, what are you talking about? Like, he says something, and then, EJ was like, no, I'm talking about, this guy, Charlie Dale, and, you're defending this guy, whatever, and, Lucas was like, oh, yeah. It's like they're both so guilty, they feel so guilty, that they're just trying to they're practically tripping over themselves, as far as trying to cover up something that they don't even know that he even knows. And it's just one of those things where it's like, it would have just been so much better if y'all, or if she would have just told the truth. This way you wouldn't have had to sit there and do this whole, I just don't even know what to call it at this point, but tripping over each other, I'm just gonna call it that. Apparently this guy was shot in the chest and blown up. Jesus Christ. But with that being said, Lucas leaves, and Sammy talks to EJ. And, this whole conversation that they have between each other, and EJ's sitting there saying, hey, listen, I'm sorry for the way I was acting, me being hurt, and just not being a good husband to you. Essentially. Just owning up to his part in their marriage. I was like, okay, listen, I don't know what's going on. I'm not privy to any of that stuff. But the way that Sammy kept trying to cover up for him, like, no, you were in a lot of pain, and this, that, and the third. And I was like, Sammy, stop. Just stop. Like, stop with these excuses. Stop making excuses for him. That was the one thing that was, a couple of things that was just so pathetic. So pathetic. Listen, if some man or woman is treating you badly and they're owning up to their mistakes, you don't sit there and just, you don't make excuses for them. You don't sit there and say, oh, well, it wasn't your real fault, and it just, no. No, you let them own up to it. You let them apologize, and if you're gracious enough to forgive them, then yeah. But you don't sit there and make up excuses as they're sitting there in the middle of apologizing. I just, no. So the whole thing was just off-putting, and then, she's kissing him and crying and everything like that, and I'm just like, like, really? Now granted, once again, I don't know their history or anything like that. I don't know about their love or anything like that. I'm pretty sure she was probably in love with this guy at one point. So I'm not going to sit there and whatever, but it just, the whole thing just threw me off, and for me, it just didn't make Sammy look like in a good light. And speaking of women that are just not, they're just coming across as pathetic, okay? Let's talk about Kate. So Kate is, sitting in bed. So apparently somebody left the door open, and and Kate is just like, oh, I'm bored. I'm blind, but I kind of want to see what's going on in the news. I guess I'll just grab my tablet and just start looking at it and reading it. So this is going on this, and that's going on this. First of all, I'm just like, Kate, you are just all sorts of pathetic for what you're doing at this point in time. You are literally just pathetic. And you're also pretty stupid. Like, anyone could walk in at any point in time and see you looking at the tablet. And granted, somebody did walk in, and, she made up some sort of excuse, but it's like, how stupid are you? The sad thing is, I don't even want to hear the answer to that. But yeah, Jake comes in, and Jake is, I'm not saying that Jake is stupid, but look, bro, if you're gonna literally break out with someone, do it like a band-aid, okay? You don't have to be a dick about it, but just rip it right off. Just go right into it, He starts in with the whole, I know you don't remember this, but, and he just goes in this round-away. It's like when somebody doesn't want to be honest with you, they're going in a round a circle kind of way, and it's just like, bro, just get to the point. He gets to the point where he does talk about how, he was in bed with somebody else. She guessed that it was Gabby. And, she talks about the breaking up part and how, Kristen hurt me when she had your face and apparently your body mass, and hurt me and yada yada yada. And, listen, I in a lot of ways, I felt like that was kind of a sleazebag thing that he did, I do. Listen, the fact of the matter was, they was broken up for like, what, maybe a week? At best? And the first chance he got, he just went right into Gabby's bed. Right into Gabby's bed. Just like, whatever. I'm glad that's over with. That's literally how I looked at it. And so, he pieces up he goes halfway into it. He does talk about, being in bed with Gabby or whatever. And Kate already knows where this is going. Kate already knows that this man is about to break up with you. He's doing it in a very sad and pathetic way, but he's about to break up with you. So, of course, Kate just lays on the guilt trip. She's all like, I forgive you. Now, me and Jake are just like, what? But then she's just like, yeah, no, I understand, you went for her for comfort, but, I'm so sad and lonely, and it's just so dark in here. Oh, because I'm blind. But it's just so lonely, and I just don't know, and I need you. And she just does this whole pity party thing where she just lays on the guilt. So at this point, Jake, being a human being, he's just like, oh, I can't do this now. You're already at your lowest point. Yeah, you're right. We're going to be together. So with that being said, he leaves. And of course, Kate is so proud of herself, talking about, nope, I'm not letting y'all two be together because, well, pretty much F my dignity and my self-respect. And the fact that I'm gonna have to sit there and look at myself in the mirror, but who cares about that stuff? I have a man, and apparently that's the only thing that matters. I swear. You know, for somebody who comes across as like very strong and this, that, and the third, and granted, I don't know Kate's history. I know she's been on the show for a while, but she comes across as a person who seems like she's a very strong-willed woman, and you know, like I don't know, this just seems so beneath her. But I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but it just seems like it's beneath her. So yeah, she's all proud of herself, and of course that's when Lucas walks in, and you know, Lucas is like, oh, by the way, EJ's back, and he kind of alludes to the fact that him and Sammy had something going on. Now, Jake comes back, and Jake is day drinking because at this point he knows what is coming next, and he talks to Chad, and you know, Chad's like, listen, you already went halfway in it. And she forgave you. So you gotta kind of just put, you know, Gabby on hold and take care of Kate. Because, you know, she's at her lowest point. And, well, Gabby's clearly not going to be a decent person. So you have to be. And that's going to be that. So continue your day drinking and, good luck with Gabby and all, all that shenanigans. And of course he wasn't there, you know, Chad wasn't there talking to Gabby. And Chad's like, listen, why don't you just put you and Jake on hold until, you know, Kate gets better. And by the way, you know, Kate's like, oh, the blindness is permanent because we already know why at this point. But yeah, Chad is like, you know, y'all just need to sit there and put what y'all doing on hold. And Gabby's like, listen, it's going to come out sooner or later. Just rip the Band-Aid off and get it over with. You know? And of course Chad is like, you know, it's kind of a indecent thing that you're doing. Like, yo, she's already at the lowest point. You breaking her heart isn't, you know, like, that's not helping. But, you know, Gabby's the type of person who's like, listen, don't string her along and just get it done with. So I understand where both of them are coming from. But with that being said, Gabby's like, listen, I have no intentions on giving up Jake. And that ends that. And she walks upstairs and, you know, all that good stuff. So when Jake walks upstairs, he sees Gabby. You know, Gabby's like, so you told her, right? So was it bad? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, her tears and everything like that? Like, what's going on with that? Jake has his look and he gives it to her, and I think she already knows. Now, when Lucas gets back, Lucas sees Sammy, and Sammy's like, yeah, I'm leaving back for Rome to be with EJ, so I'm saying goodbye. I just sat there and I'm just like, Sammy, you pathetic. Now let's make something very clear. When Lucas came back, or at least the first time I saw Lucas, I was not exactly his biggest fan. I understood why he came across the way he came across with Nicole, kind of barging in, being like, what's going on, my daughter, yada yada yada. I understood his energy and I got where he was coming from. But you don't walk in somebody's house and just start demanding, you know, start demanding stuff and demanding questions, demanding this and demanding that. Like, bro, you don't live here. You don't pay rent here. What the hell is your problem? So to be honest, I just, you know, people was not giving me the smoke for me the way I was coming at Lucas, but, well, one, I didn't give a damn because I didn't like the way he walked in the room like he owned the place. Like, I understand your door and everything like that, but I don't give a damn about that. You take your entitled ass back. I wasn't a fan of it. I wasn't a fan of it. But, you know, after, you know, everything cleared or whatever, you know, listen, I did start to like Lucas a little bit more. And, you know, there was some parts where Lucas did come at EJ and was like, listen, you know, she was here dealing with this stuff by herself, and you were just... You know, he was not saying that, you know, EJ's like, what was you doing while she was not there dealing with Sam, you know, Allie, and, you know, trying to go to jail for her? It's like, what was you doing? You know, the whole time she needed comfort, she needed this, she needed that, and you weren't there for her. So I was like, yo, I respected Lucas for that. So the fact that Sammy just like, alright, I'm leaving, like, really? Like, seriously? This dude literally just practically just gave you his heart, and you're just like, alright, I'm gonna go back to the man that was practically treating me like crap for the last, well, I don't know, years, I'll just sit there and say, to be back in this marriage that you just feel that you're afraid of being with this man, instead of the guy who actually, I don't know, genuinely cares about you and actually loves you. Good choice, Sammy. Good, just great choice, Sammy. Okay. Xander makes it pretty clear to Nicole, hey, listen, if you don't get me hired, I'll tell you their little secret. You know, Nicole was just like, oh, well, you're not gonna, have a place here, you're not gonna be here, this, that, and the third. I'm like, Nicole, have you been drinking again? Because I'm pretty sure Xander just said, and he said in a couple of other episodes, that if you do not get him this job at Basic Black, he will tell your husband. And of course Nicole was like, oh, well, I was going to sit there and I got so tired of it, I was going to sit there and tell him myself. We both just kind of stood there and was like, but you didn't. You didn't. You had the opportunity to sit there and do it, and you didn't. So, whatever happens, happens. Of course, you could just, woman up and actually tell the truth, but why would you do that for? So, of course, Nicole sits there and play coy, and then she tries to choke him because apparently that's gonna somehow work. And of course, Brady walks in. Brady's just like, yo, I don't know what kind of kinky thing y'all got going on, but, yeah, you gotta get this man up out of my office, pretty much. Now, Brady was at the hospital. He walked in to give flowers. I was like, what the hell are you doing here, Brady? But he walks in, he gives her favorite flowers, and she's like, oh, it's nice you gave me my favorite flowers, or whatever. Or Brady was like, oh, of course I couldn't forget your favorite flowers. And like 2 seconds later on, Philip is right there with the exact same flowers. I just like, did y'all miss each other when y'all were like going in town square? Like, how did that work out? And of course, they start arguing over Chloe once again about who is Chloe gonna sit there and stay with. They go back and forth, like they are literally sitting there bickering, like they're in 8th grade about a girl that they like. Chloe tries to get, like, hey, I can talk for myself. No? Okay, cool. So they go back and forth, and finally, because they're both, they're both arguing. Who is, one second. I don't know what the hell that was about. They were arguing to see who was Chloe gonna stay with, Brady or, Philip. And finally, Chloe was like, you know what, listen, I'll stay with Philip. Philip pretty much just like, alright, cool, so I'm just gonna go set up your stuff, come back, pick you up, and, we can just get out of here. And I'm pretty sure that as Philip was sitting there leaving, Philip was like, ta, and just kind of just walked out. But at this point, Brady is upset. I was like, Brady, you look like you're upset. You upset, bro? You upset? Listen, I get that Brady was sitting there saying that he wants to sit there and take care of her because he felt like, he got her into this mess. I feel like it was kind of both of their faults, but if we're going to be really honest, it was pretty much Kristen's fault. Brady didn't sit there and paint a target on her back. She didn't ask to get shot by Jan Spears, or kidnapped by Kristen. Kristen made her own choice. But with that being said, listen, she didn't say it, but in a lot of ways, I'm pretty sure she's like, it's the better option of staying with Philip. One, he has a big place. It's kind of a fortress. Two, Kristen wouldn't mind if Philip was staying with Chloe, as opposed of, Brady. And I think at some point, even Chloe was like, yeah, I don't feel like having a gun to my face or getting kidnapped. So maybe staying with Philip is kind of the better option. I think that's the better option. But yeah, Brady is upset, and you know at this point, Chloe's like, "Oh, well, I don't want to sit there. You know, you just broke up with your girl. I don't want to take advantage of the situation. I think we both need some time and space." I was like, Chloe, are you even actually thinking about giving this another man a chance after you got kidnapped? After you've been threatened by Kristen twice. You've been shot by Jan Spears as a result of Kristen kidnapping you. And you telling me in your delusional head that you still actually have feelings for this man? After everything that he put you through. You can't be this stupid. You just can't. It's just not possible. I mean, yeah, I understand a heart wants what it wants, but at some point, that option becomes a lot, becomes less attractive with all the other baggage that comes along with it. So, he kisses her on the forehead. I was like, Brady, just go. Just go. Just walk out the same door that you came in from. I don't hate Brady. I really don't. But getting everything that happened, I'm like, Brady, you need to sit there and give us some space. Which is going to be hard to do because, they work together. But, you have to sit there and try. Unless you want another gun in her face or, whatever. That kind of sucks a little bit because, to be honest, no one wants to be a consolation prize. And that sucks because Philip did screw up. That's on him. But, if anything happens, it happens sort of as a result of the fact that she can't be with Brady because, well, his ex-girlfriend is a nut job. So, you're the better choice. Well, you're the safer choice. AKA a consolation prize. But, listen, if he's happy, then, whatevs. You know what? In this review, I'm pretty sure I forgot something. But I don't know what that is. So, as always, if I forgot anything, please write in the comment section below. And also, again, let me know what your thoughts are on the new EJ. Do you like him? Do you not like him? Did he have an accent before? Was that the thing with the old EJ? I don't know. But with that being said, I'm gonna go. Thank you for watching. Be safe. Catch you in the next video.